How many CN crew guys does it take to change a light bulb? The better question is, how many light bulbs does it take to change a scene on a layout? Answer, just one. Hi everyone, and welcome to another CN Yard update. In this video, I'll show you how I installed my Just Plug lighting system by Woodland Scenics, and I'll show you how I wired my turnouts. But before I do that, I want to make sure that my loco shed is nice and secure and doesn't move. If you remember, the corner of my locomotive shed comes mighty close to the track, and if it shifts just even a little bit, it might derail my train. I didn't want to glue down the shed because I want access for wiring and possible derailments, so I used push pins to keep the shed from shifting. And you can see that cars can pass safely without hitting the shed. Okay, the shed is secure, so now I can place my turnouts and wire them up. Pico switches come with ties that go right to the end of the tracks, and that makes it difficult to attach rail joiners. What I used to do is snip the ties completely off and then just add them later by slipping them under the rails. I do this for my soldered flex track. But now I use this trick. I only cut the tie clips off, leaving the ties intact, but now there's a gap between the rails and ties. So now I can slip rail joiners on and without fuss nor muss. There are a lot of videos out there about turnouts and how their frogs work. Insel frogs, electro frogs, bull frogs. But I'm going to leapfrog over that subject because I do what I know works. I use Pico Insel Frog turnouts and I wire each one separately. If I don't, the trains won't run if a turnout is switched because the power is then cut off. I simply drill 2 holes for each turnout and drop the feeder wires to my bus line. I then test each turnout to make sure everything works. The yard is really taking shape now. All the tracks are down, and in a future video, I will show you how I wired my 3 stall tracks that lead into the shed. Each track will have its own power source. Can't wait. Now it's time to install the light over the human door on the shed. I'll be using Woodland Scenics Just Plug lighting system to install the light. It is a very simple system, and like the name suggests, you just plug everything in. First, I used my brand new mini hand drill to drill a small hole above the shed door. I recommend starting with a smaller hole and go bigger if needed. I'm using the Just Plug wall-mounted gooseneck light. It comes with detailed instructions, 2 lights, and wires that connect to the hub. Each light comes with about 3 feet of wire. That's pretty decent if you ask me. Next, I fed the teeny weeny wire through the hole and pulled gently until the light reached the shed. I placed the light in position and glued it in place with Gorilla Glue. These gooseneck lights are great because you can adjust the neck to face higher or lower. After marking my spot, I drill a small hole through the cork, foam, and benchwork for the wire to pass through. I fed the wire through and then pulled the red-black wires into the corresponding holes into these connectors. So the teeny weeny wires connect to slightly bigger wires, and those wires plug into the light hub. This light hub came with some extra lights which I may use for interior lighting. I plugged in the power supply, which is sold separately. Now I have power and 1 light running from the hub. And as you can see, there is room for more lights and even another hub. One last step. I want to be able to turn the light on and off. So I plugged in an auxiliary switch. It goes in the control port. Now I can turn my light on and off, on and off, on and off. I can also dim the light, which is a great feature. Each light port has its own dimmer switch. There you go, pretty simple. I still have to organize underneath my layout because there's wires everywhere and it's a complete mess. But I'm very happy with the light, and once I add more, I can have a nice night scene. Before I sign off, let's go back to that last clip. Notice anything? Yeah, I painted the inside of the shed black. Will, aka Southeast Rail Fan, recommended that I paint the inside black to darken the interior of the shed and get rid of that blue. So it took a few minutes and I think it looks great. So Will, thanks a lot. Okay, tracks are in, I have a light, and I added some temporary scenery. Next step, backdrop. Stay tuned for that. Until then, thanks for watching and take care.
Cheers is filmed before a live studio audience.
Hey everybody!